Hello, everyone. In today's episode of Meet the Makers, we are delighted to have Mr. Vishal Kawji, who's the founder and technical director of Polyphonic Technology. Polyphonic Technologies is at the forefront of handling 3D visual projects, specializing in interactivity and hyperrealism. They excel in environmental design using Unreal Engine, asset creation for games and films, photogrammetry, metahuman virtual reality, interactive interiors, and metaverse. And additionally, now they're on the verge of launching their own gaming IP. So we would like to welcome Mr. Vishal. Hi, Mr. Vishal. How are you and how's everything going?
Hi, Prerna. Everything's going on good. I'm doing well. Things are going fine. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just begin with asking a bit about your background and the inspiration that led you to founding Polyphonic Technologies. Like you have studied at Asian Institute of Gaming and Animation, and you have been in the industry for the past 13 years, worked in academics and studios as well. So what led you to founding Polyphonic Technologies?
I was always fond of making games. Since like childhood, I've been playing games, and my education somewhere it led into game designing and development. So I was also same like struggling like everyone into the media field, visiting studios, working there as an asset artist, lighting artist. Finally, came to a point where I started becoming a journalist. And then at a point, I realized that my core intention of getting into this field was gaming. That's where I started a small startup back in days where it was a very small team of two, three members. And we were trying to harness the power of gaming engine and see what we could do in the field of gaming as well as XR was something which was exciting at that time. I'm talking about 2010, 12 times. Uh, that's
Okay.
where that's where we started getting small ticket size projects where things were going on a very good space. But then it was not something where I would start up and take up a big leap into having a big team and taking up big projects. So similarly, when we were moving into this field, obviously being in Bombay, we started getting inquiries for films. Like, what can we do with gaming engines like Unreal, and can we deliver something for films? Because the turnaround times were very quicker, as well as the budget-wise, it was very budget-friendly. As these are all open source softwares, and real-time rendering is something which is currently everyone is running behind that. So that's where we started growing, and films were something which always gave us our bread and butter, where we stood up. And then since then, I migrated into many different technologies. We got into metahumans, we got into motion capture, we got into virtual production, and similarly, we started increasing the team size. Now we have somewhere around 70-member team, and we do complete end-to-end solutions right from production to the final delivery of the project. So that's the overall journey. That what motivated me for Polyphonic. It was just an idea first, but then now everyone wants that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's keeping us alive.
Yeah, like probably you are the visionary, like who saw the use of Unreal Engine back like probably a decade ago. So, and now it's like the most talked about thing. But going a bit back, what made you venture into this world of 3D projects? Like what made you study gaming and animation?
So gaming was something which Unreal is something which I am using when I was in college. Like I remember 11th,
Oh,
I was in science. Yes, I had inclination towards computers, but majorly into games. Like since first standard when my dad gifted me 8-bit game, since then I've been just hooked on to games. So post my 10th when I understood that there's Google, I got my first computer. My family was also backing me up for all of these things. So and my relatives were in states. So so there was the family was known what's happening. So and then since I touched the Unreal Engine UDK at that time, it was just a developing kit for a game called Unreal Tournament. That's where I got it. This is something what I will be doing throughout my life. And since then till now, I've been doing the same thing.
Wow, I mean, very few people get, I think, such a good exposure right from the young age, I feel, especially for this field. Like using Unreal back, I don't know, in probably 80s, 90s, like, and then deciding that you want to pursue the career in this field. It's really, it's inspirational, I would say. So coming back, so like you have had extensive career in both education and you have worked in the industry. So, from being a senior faculty at Framebox to your current role as the founder and technical director of Polyphonic, how has your experience as educator influenced your approach to leading technical teams in the industry, especially in the VR, AR, metaverse, virtual production domain?
So there is one most important identity in my life, who's just because of him I was able to do all of these things. Ravi sir, Ravi is CEO of Framebox. So back then he started his journey, and I also started my journey at the same time. It was 2004 when he started a center of a Mac, and I was his first faculty. So that time I was just working on. I got out of Mac and. I was hired as an intern, and Mangal Pandey was happening at Mel. That is the time when I was, chosen as a faculty for that center. And he's been since that time till 2001. I was with Ravi sir, and he was the one who gave me a chance to open up my own startup. That's the point where he told me, with Framebox you also open your startup, and I'll back it up. Don't worry. So that's how everything began. Uh, so as an educator, there is always a learning curve. So the way industry is growing, there's everything. Every time there's something new happening. So we have to understand what's happening, and for which you need to have a goal. You can't just sit down and say, one day I'll do an R&D on something. Until unless you don't have a project, until unless you're not working on something, you will never learn new things. So that's how it happened. And whatever I learned from all of these things, what I did from the projects, from live project, may it be small or bigger, but and that is something what I was teaching to my students. And currently, there are my students are like in most of the places they are there, even Rockstar, MPC, and we still are in connect. So, from my studio also, there are people who have went abroad. They have done 2 years, 3 years with me, and they have. So being a founder, being running a show, still I am kind of an educator. Just recently, I got a certificate from Epic that I am the authorized Unreal trainer for India. So
Cool. That's great. So, are you still teaching, or you are now solely dedicated your time to polyphonic?
So yes, I am still teaching. I'm connected to Aptech right now. Their virtual production facility, which happened, I was at the backup of them. I did the initial training for the trainers. I take master sessions. So if someone is really interested, and there are a bunch of students who are still in connect and they want to upgrade themselves, so they reach out to me. Specifically, you will see very less people who understand games and who can literally write games. I am one of it. So people do connect on that basis. If they want to learn how to develop player mechanics, how to develop environment for games, or they want to create games. So that is something what I get a lot of inquiries for.
And like along with games, you also work on films. So, like, what do you love learn like working more on games or films?
So
Like,
for me, everything is games. I take films also as games cutscenes. That's what I have told myself. I like so films are bread and butter to us. Considering the projects available in the market for games and movies ke liye there is a lot of things, but for games there is very limited market till now. So our survival right now is wholly on the film market. Games we are doing. One of it is a few of the game projects we are doing, but they are not of that ticket size, and the turnaround times, the profits you make. So that's how I like working on games a lot. But then the same technology, so you don't literally
yeah,
feel that you're making a movie or you're making a film.
got it, got it. So coming back to polyphonic technologies, you use Unreal Engine a lot. And how has the use of it influenced your work in environment design and asset creation? Like, are there any specific features or capabilities that you find particularly advantageous for your projects?
So the most important advantage what we have is it being open source. So open source, that means I have right now around 25 artists, and each license, the cost of licenses what are there. But Epic has been very generous that there is no license fee what they have added. So at least till now. So that's the most advantage part of using Unreal Engine. Now followed by as it is a gaming engine, everything happens real time. So your visualization, like I have seen render times going up to 1 hour per frame and half hour per frame. So until and unless it is being rendered, your visualizations are not right. So you will only be understanding how if the lighting is right or wrong after an hours of rendering happens. That's where Unreal comes in, where I get to see my visualization there and there. So that's one of the advantages. Secondly, all the AI tools, like specifically, let's say I want to build something which is not there in the software. So Unreal, I can literally do it. There are coders in my team. I myself, I am good with blueprints. So we do develop in-house tools also. So these are few of the points which are giving us advantages. And the reuse thing, what Unreal has, and the library what Unreal is giving us. These are a few of the core advantages. Like anyone from Unreal fraternity would wow on this. So that's how I feel. These are the most advantages what I feel.
Advantages. And like as you mentioned, like what are the common challenges you face to ensure technical quality and efficiency of these projects?
The biggest problem what I face is the skilled manpower. That's the main important part which we are lagging behind, because the training institutes still in India are still teaching the traditional workflows and Unreal and everything. They have started teaching, but then they are not at to that level. So getting the right manpower is one of the challenge, and there are a lot of bigger players than us who are already in the industry. So it has happened a lot of times that we have taken a fresher, we have trained him, we have spent 2 years on it, and then suddenly he gets a call from the bigger players and he's just moving out. So that's where the biggest problem lies. Apart from that, yeah, getting computers, because these are high-end computers which are required, and getting that hardware available in India is one of the problem. The tool is new. If you just consider Maya, for every problem there are 100 solutions over the internet, but then when it comes to Unreal, you literally need to dig in and find out, this was the problem or that was the problem. So luckily, as we have so much of experience, and the core team which I am with, they are since 7 years, 7 8 years they are with me. So luckily that's helped us out a lot. But then still, I think so. The open source tools will take some more time for studios to adapt and understand how the troubleshooting will be. So these are the common challenges which we face.
Okay. And anything more like to how do you ensure the technical quality of your projects?
So that's completely on our pipeline. Like the process what we have set since these years, that's what's assuring the quality benchmark. That's one. Secondly, the people associated with us. Like we have very good talent with us right now, which is from the technical side also, right from the art side also. So this is how we are right now managing the quality benchmarks. Apart from that, there are some projects in which we really, we had to put a stress, because CG projects, Unreal related projects, the industry is new. So I remember when we were just doing a previous for a show, and suddenly we showed the Unreal environment to the clients. Client started having his own ideas, like it's real time, the cameras can flow. So why don't you do this shot? Why don't you do that shot? So that's again to set up the client's limitation is also one of the challenge what we are facing right now.
The understanding for how it works is what is lagging in the industry, right? I mean, you can't just say, okay, switch it because that needs to be made in real life as well.
So, but in the creative phase, when you are associated with a project, when it is at a scripting stage, that time everyone is open to ideas.
Mhm.
The ideas gets cancelled off when the budget come in the picture. So
Correct.
so at that time everyone is creative. नहीं हम actor को उधर से कूदा सकते हैं तो why don't we take a shot from top? But then they don't understand for that to happen. It's a very simple thing for them to say. To actually create it, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So, like, you have recently worked on projects like Gadar 2, Vadnagar, which is a documentary on Discover, which is airing on Discovery Plus, and also iRacing. So, can you share some of the experiences and challenges that you faced while doing this project? And all these projects were with Polyphonic or with someone else? Like,
Purely with Polyphonics. So I'll specifically talk about Gadar. So what happened is when Gadar came in, there was a list of shots in which we had to replace the backgrounds. Now, traditionally, there is a team of digital matte painters. Let's say there are 30 shots, then each shot one artist will take and he'll develop that VG, which is first a very time taking job. Secondly, when you look at all these 30 shots, there will be a difference in all the shots, a little bit different. How better you match it, whatever the experience level of artist is. So we came up with that. We came up with a solution like, let's try to do it in Unreal. So we quickly developed a background. There were already CG happening in Gadar, so we took all of those assets, we lined them up, we created a city of Lahore at back at that time with trees and everything. So once that whole 3D scene was done, we quickly started taking the shots. So my 30 artist ka work was done by around 5-member team, and the turnaround times were very quick. The beauty of it is whatever edits were coming from the client, we were able to address it in hours time. Where if it was again a digital matte painting thing happened, then it goes in a loop. So that is how we address these parts. iRacing is something what we are doing. That's more of asset work what we do. So it's a outsourced project to us. We do a couple of assets. It's a racing game, and again, this is a project which has been built in Unreal. So expectation from us is to develop assets, the objects which are on the track, and give it to them. So that's something what we are doing. Vadnagar was a very good project for us because that is where we deliver 20 minutes of content, complete CG content with the the best technologies available in the industry right now. Right from meta-humans to hyper-realistic environments to motion capture suits and getting motion capture data, everything was tried and tested into that. That was the project where my team got experienced with, if I want to create a complete CG project in Unreal, then what will be the challenges, what will be the limitations and everything. So these are the projects like which I can say
Mhm.
ones to make us understand what this overall picture is about.
Mhm. Can you tell a bit more about what Vadnagar is exactly? Like, what was the project all about?
So Vadnagar it was supposed to be a documentary. Now everyone knows the budgets what documentary allows. Now documentary and CG have never gone along together because the CG is most expensive technology and the documentary is where budgets are very tight.
Limits are very different. Yeah.
These two extreme sides were there in front of us, and that time we just completed one few shots for Adi Purush. The climax shot was done completely on Unreal by our team. So we just completed that, and that's the with all the experience what we had, we were called for a meeting, and it was discussed that we want to create these kind of 20 minutes of visuals, where there is a city called as Vadnagar. Apparently, it's PMO's birthplace. So this city has around seven cultures in it, and we need to document all of them. There will be period assets created, there will be period humans created, and there are few glimpses like Tansen in it, Mughals in it, monks in it. So all of these around 100 characters were supposed to be created. Now, first of all, the budget which was getting from a CG studio was phenomenal. So then, what was the situation? What was the other thing what we can do it with? So there was an option of 2D. The project was already locked with some of the studio, and they were supposed to do it in 2D. We told them that let's try out Unreal. Obviously, the budgets will be way down, and let's try making it. We made one shot and the people over there liked it. And that's how we built it up completely. Just because we had this open source technology with us, and obviously we also wanted to try it at that time, whether it works or not, because there was a big question mark. Now I can tell in Epic, few of the Epics meetup also, I have been displaying Vadnagar, and people are just saying, "Wow, it's like a benchmark what we have set, specifically in documentary scenario." So uh, that time we took that project and we delivered it with around 8 member team, and the time taken was around 6 months.
And
So
how many shots were there in it?
around 200 to 50 shots were there.
And any other projects you would like to talk about? Like,
Yes, as I told you, my main intention was creating games. So there's a project called as Yod, what we are doing. That's an internal IP. That's one of the game what we are building, and this is supposed to be. It's now going to be out. The trailer, the title reveal, and we are going to start building it up. The story and everything, and there's a lot of people associated with it. Good names from the industry. So once we release the trailers and everything, we'll be announcing the names and who all are behind it. So that's one project what we are very keen on for this year at least.
it's a Polyphonics IP.
Yes, it's
Like,
completely our
okay.
right from the story to the game dev, the source code, everything is being built over here.
And which platform have you created it for?
Yes, so now we are talking to Sony guys. So we are considering Sony PlayStation 5 as the platform for it. And our main focus is on the Sony portal, what they have released. So that's our main vision to make a game for a handheld device. Post that, then we'll think about porting it on mobiles or maybe PC or further other platforms.
Can you like share a bit more about what's the game going to be all about? Like, is it an action adventure or is it a like hardcore game, midcore game? What exactly is it?
Yes, so now it is a experiential game. Obviously, it is an action adventure game, but more of it, it's like a graphic novel. What is there now? This like considering all the technologies what are present right now, like the motion controllers in PlayStation, the noise controllers in PlayStation, VR technologies which are there. So our game is specifically targeted to use all of these technologies. So that's the key process what we are trying to have in our game. So you might expect things like blowing a candle just by blowing into a controller. A digital candle is getting blown in your game. So this is what we are trying to put into our game. The story is a lot Indianized story on Indian grounds. A lot can be connected to Indian mythology. Our character is living in future, way in future, maybe 3000 somewhere. But then the mythology is getting more intense. Like right now, we don't have we just have mythology as mythology in written books. But then what we are thinking is in coming future, the mythology might exist, might be the gods may make physical appearances on the planet. So the world has gone to that level, and there's one guy called Yod who's living into this world, and there is a story which he's going to play around, and that's what the main essence of game is. Our main focus is to make it simple to play, but more of an experiential stuff. Like people who are very fond of reading stories, people who are very fond of reading graphic novels, we are targeting them. Obviously, serious gamers will also have their own part, but then our main target audience are those because there
Okay.
was a time when comics were there and nothing happened to the comics after the only it remained till the print point. But we are trying to get the comic element also into it, where people feel that they're literally reading a story in a
Really?
very interactive manner.
So, any like what would you say like to the people who want to get into this field? Like you since you have trained so many students, so what would you talk to the youth who's gonna enter the 3D creation or the Unreal? And would you suggest them to study Unreal and other softwares as well, or they can just like study one thing?
Uh, this is just out of my own experience what I had, like 18 years I've been training. So what I have understood out of this training is there is in India we are training we are not literally making them skilled. We are just training them on a process.
Yeah.
So for all the youth, like the future is not skills. Computer is going to do it now. If you see the way AI is going up,
Hmm.
even writing a letter is. I remember, their stenos being there and people literally writing, and there are people who are hired to write a letter. But
Yeah.
today, Chat GPT is just doing it.
Yeah.
So skills is something like the laborious work. I may call it asset creation, texture creation. This all will be taken
Hmm.
care by the computers. But then the essence of storytelling, the essence of building up a game is something which is more humanly. And I am pretty sure that in coming time, the art is going to survive, but then the technology is always going to have upgrades to it. So for the youth, don't fall into that loop of doing laborious job, like learning one particular stuff, but start learning an overall picture about it. Like let's say if I want to make a short film, then how do I not only look into the technology? Because when you for me, when I was working in a studio making asset, for me asset creation was the biggest job and biggest thing in the world of filmmaking. But when I moved out, when I started my own show, and when I started looking at what people are, what are the talks happening outside, I realized that story, building story, production, making sure the shoots happen, and then finally is where the studios and the VFX is considered, right? So we are looking at a very small part, and we are elaborating as a very big one. So start learning the bigger picture rather just focusing on the smaller nitty gritties. Like learning Unreal is a good thing, but then Unreal learning for what? Are you
Hmm.
learning it for filmmaking? Are you learning it for making games? Is what you need to take a call on, and that's what you should learn. That's a small message to
Yeah.
all.
And like, what do you like? As you mentioned, AI has come up now, and a lot of people are using, and a lot of processes will soon be cut down. So, how is your company integrating the AI, and what are the steps you're taking to make AI proof, polyphonic AI proof?
We are so AI is something which already we are using. Like one of the processes what we set just like 5 days back, we started using it also. Like my production team is completely on AI now. The AI does the all short bifurcation. It does all the allocation to the artist and everything. So that is how we are getting into it. AI is going to just replicate processes. The creativity, the taste of audience, I don't think so it will be able to replicate in at least in our lifeline or our life structure of polyphonic.
Okay, and what is the like with the rapid evolution in technology? What trends do you foresee in the 3D project space?
So majorly, DOH is something which we are. There's a lot of inquiry for what we are doing. Like all the 3D billboards, what you can see where people characters are coming out. That's
Hmm.
something which
Right.
is a lot. CGI is increasing now. Suddenly, Bollywood is also moving into CGI. There was a very limited CGI happening, and as these technologies are becoming more simpler, more efficient, so people are now ready to try it out. Like I can see, imagine a documentary having 20 minutes of CGI into it. So these are the trends which we are seeing now, and obviously games. If I consider right back last year and this year, there has been phenomenal increase. Right from the inquiries, everyone suddenly wants to make games. So that's what I can see the trends going towards now. And yeah, virtual production is something what people are really getting into. Plus, I've seen that nowadays a lot of movie guys are also inclining towards pre-planning, making previews, all of that. So that is something which I'm getting a lot of inquiries for.
Nice, nice. And you being a founder of a company, what tip would you like to give to someone who plans to start their own uh company or a
So
studio? Like we
yeah,
have a lot of indie developers game in the gaming field where there are just one or two people starting out their own, but you have like made it into the gaming and the film space. So yeah.
uh, see, the first tip is this is like completely the Polyphonic story. There was a point when I was at a point to shut down Polyphonic. The major important part is you need to look into finances. A company doesn't run on a vision. Your vision may be big, your vision may be outstanding, but then you need to look back and look at the funds what you have, and for which you need a good backup. The second important tip is you can't form a company alone. There has to be like we are four partners, and uh, sharing
Can you
is
name who are the partners?
Prashant Thakur is one of the partner. He's a very big name in VFX. Sagar Murjaria is one of the partner. He is the man behind the overall finances and everything. He's again into exhibitions. He's into set designing, and he does a lot of events. That's the space of what Sagar has. Pranav Patil, he handles the complete business, right from the day-to-day finances, hiring, paperwork, and everything. So these are the four partners, and I am there. So we four partners work together.
So you have funds, partners, getting the right partners, two main things.
Yeah, two main things. So even normally what happens, when you get into partnership, the problem is why I'm getting the smaller share and why he's getting the bigger share. So that's one of the thing which happens everywhere. Like all the ventures which I had, that was something what is here. So when you are starting up a business, you need to be open for this. Like you don't need to you don't need to focus on the stakes. You don't need to look at the monetary gain what you are getting, but you have to look at the future of your company, and the most important is the employees, right? If you are not employee centric, then don't get into startups. If you are going to be like a service oriented thing where you sit down with a hunter and you tell them, okay, this is a space where we earn money, it's not going to work. So these are like 4 points which I would really say, like, these are very important. You And the most important point is you should be open. If you can't be, you are centric, like, I want to do this and I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's important. So
Good. Yeah, thank you so much, Vishal. It was great talking to you and listening to your point of views. And hopefully, we get to see Yodha soon and it gets great response. So, good luck to your team as well for that. You and your team.
thank you so much.